Hey guys, September is actually National Preparedness Month, and that's got me thinking, especially in light of recent events within the last few weeks across the country and across the world, have me thinking about my own level of preparedness. And I've thought about this pretty frequently. And the reason is that when you're out there in the backcountry, you think to yourself, wow, I can't imagine how I'm able to do with so little. When you're at home or wherever you are, you typically have a lot of creature comforts, things that we don't necessarily need, but they've become essential to kind of our daily lives. And when you're out in the backcountry, you don't have a lot of those different amenities, you don't have a lot of those different luxuries, and so you have to survive essentially with what you have. And so I want to talk about how your backpacking gear or hiking gear can kind of transfer over to survival gear in case of an emergency. So of course we always have like our typical things that everyone thinks about. A tarp, of course, this is what this is the war bonnet Mama Jama, can be used as an emergency shelter all the time. This is a really great one because it provides a lot of coverage. That one, easy, right? Everyone thinks of that. Everyone thinks of their hammock, they think of their sleeping pad. Those are things that kind of are a given. Your sleeping bag, your sleeping quilt. In case of an emergency, you can definitely use those. But what I want to talk about are some kind of less frequently thought of ideas for how your backpacking gear can transfer into survival gear. So the first thing, your first aid kit. That's kind of the ultimate survival tool right there, is making sure that you can be able to use your repair kit. So for example, I have a needle, I have floss, which in a pinch can be used as thread. I have different ways. Neosporin is a big one, anti-diarrheal, pain medication, you name it, it's in here. And that can definitely be used in an emergency or in just a pinch of any kind. Batteries and solar panels. This one is a gimme as well. Everyone should kind of think of this as an emergency gear. To give you an example of how I've used this in a tiny emergency, we had a power outage and it lasted thankfully only a few hours, but I was able to use this as a light. This battery solar charger does have a light, LED lights built into it, as well as I knew I could charge my phone, I knew I could charge devices because cell towers or anything like that were not down. I could make phone calls and I knew I had a battery backup. So this one is huge. You definitely can use things like this all the time. And I know most people carry their phones in the backcountry and they will have a battery backup of some kind, even though it's not solar. And this one is great because it is. This is the Flybox Gadgets SQ1. This one is great because it's a constantly renewable energy source. And if it runs out, I just put it in the sun and it's going to charge. Your backpacking stove. People tend not to think of this one because they think, oh my gosh, my stove is electric, I can't cook anything. You have your gas grill usually on your back deck or your front deck, and you have a backpacking stove, either an alcohol stove or a gas canisters laying around, and you can cook with that. You can boil water with that if you need to. And so sometimes we tend to think about these tools or these pieces of backpacking gear as being one-dimensional, that they only have one use and one purpose, and yeah, but I'm not going camping. Why would I need to use that? It's something where sometimes you have to think outside the box about what you can use these kind of recreational items for in case of an emergency. One thing that comes to mind, especially when you think about boiling water, is you think about the tragedy we have unfolding in Texas around Houston, and people there's water everywhere, but a lot of it's not potable water. They can't drink it. And so I know that I could boil water and boil it for usually about 2 minutes of a rolling boil, kill any bacteria that's in there, any viruses that are in there, let the water cool and drink it, and then you'll be safe. But sometimes people don't think about the tools that they have at hand. And as I've watched that unfold, I think about just a simple thing that the majority of us carry is your filter. Water is life. Water is one of those things where you can't do for very long without it. And I have kids and I want to make sure that they have access to healthy, clean drinking water. And the Sawyer is a great filter. It gets rid of 99.9% of bacteria. It doesn't treat viruses, but all of us have our different water treatments, and those can be used in a pinch and emergency. And I think it's something that can be overstated, that as a backpacker or a hiker, you are more prepared than you think. And when I think about an emergency, I'm thinking about something very similar to what happened in Houston, which is really sad to see. A lot of people in need, And I think to myself that you see a lot of people who are rescuing. You think about the Cajun Navy, for example. And a lot of those guys are outdoorsmen. They know how to boat, they know how to read water, they know how to, I would, for example, wouldn't be able to go out there with a boat and be able to identify when there are logs in the water. I don't have that level of skill, but you see most of these guys who are out there rescuing and helping with the efforts, they're outdoorsmen, like you and I. They know how to read an area, and they have their unique set of skills. And I think it's great. We as backpackers and hikers also have a unique set of skills. There's not everyone who can go out there for, let's say, 2-3 days even, just with what's on their back and be able to live and thrive. And granted, usually we have it just for a set period of time, but it's a skill that you should think about, and you are honing that skill, and it's something that's really important to have. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox for a little bit. So guys, I wanna make sure that you are as prepared as you can be. I wanna be able to give away a 3-day food supply kit, and this kit is coming from Mountain House. They're a great company, and they have done some great things partnering right now with the Red Cross in Texas, trying to make sure that lots of food get to families and people who need it. And all you have to do to enter this giveaway is comment down below with your piece of backpacking gear or hiking gear that you think you would most utilize or go to in an emergency. It doesn't have to be any big emergency. It could be like you losing the power for 48 hours. It could be something like major flooding that happened in Texas. But let me know what piece of backpacking gear you think would come in handy in an emergency like that. And just be sure to use the hashtag. You'll see it in the title. It's MH Prep Month, or Mountain House Prep Month. And what that will do is I will use a random comment picker in 1 week from the launch of this video. And you have to make sure that you have that comment and that hashtag. I don't want you guys to miss out. So you have to have that hashtag, and you have to have just a comment, but preferably one about backpacking gear and how it can be used. And I'll have a link to the 3-day supply kit that is in this giveaway in the description, so you can see exactly what you're commenting for. I know a lot of you guys love Mountain House food, and you take it with you on your trips already. In case you don't win this awesome prize, the 3-day food supply kit, what there's a code specifically tailored to my channel, and you'll see it in the description. I don't get any benefit besides you guys getting a really good deal, 30% off. I don't get any kickback or anything from that. It's just a way of my saying thanks for you guys watching, as well as I know most of you guys enjoy Mountain House food anyway, so if you're gonna buy it, might as well get 30% off. And as always, peace, stay safe, stay prepared.